How you doing? I'm Darren with Kickin BBQ. If this is your first time to the channel, then welcome. If you've been here before, then welcome back. Today, we are just gonna be doing a basic rib video, and the reason for it is because I'm gonna be pairing my honey chipotle with Saints and Sinners miracle sauce, which is also a honey chipotle. Now this may look like a shake or a rub, but this is a sauce. You just add water to it, and I've heard that it's phenomenal. And since they are both honey chipotles, we're gonna pair them together on a rack of ribs. We're gonna be cooking hybrid, low and slow, hot and fast, running at 275 degrees, and we're looking at about three and a half hours on these spare ribs. So let's bring you in and get these ribs prepped up right now. All right, so here is our rack of spare ribs I trimmed up. If you're curious on how I trim my spare ribs, I dropped a video recently. I'll have a link to that at the end. You can go and check it out. And this is gonna be pretty simple today. I'm trying out this new sauce called the Miracle Sauce. It's a honey chipotle sauce made by Dave over at Saints and Sinners. We had lunch last week. He gave me this to try. Now this is a powder that you just add water to and it'll make the sauce. So like the instructions say, mix equal parts water and seasoning together. So if you're doing 3 tablespoons of seasonings to 3 tablespoons of water, this one jug here is enough to make 33 ounces of sauce. So pretty cool, innovative idea. I thought what better seasoning to pair it with than my honey chipotle. Now I did mix up a little bit of kosher salt and coarse ground black pepper and added my honey chipotle to it just so we get a little bit more peppery on there. Kind of going Texas style with this. Now this is just 1 tablespoon coarse ground black pepper, 1 tablespoon Diamond Crystal kosher salt, and 1 tablespoon of my Kickin BBQ honey chipotle rub. So we're gonna be cooking this on the Z grills today. We're gonna be rocking at 275 degrees, and I'm really excited to see how this sauce is. I'll have a link down below if you wanna go and check it out. Like I said, it's supposed to be amazing. Everything I've heard is fantastic, and Dave's a really great guy, so go and check out what he has to offer. Let's get these ribs seasoned up right now. I'm gonna start off with the bottom side. We'll just do a nice even coat on the bottom here. All right, now we're gonna flip these over and repeat the process on the top side. All right, so we have the ribs seasoned up here. They're looking good, starting to take on some color, starting to sweat a little bit. I'm just gonna let these sweat in for a few minutes while I go and get the Z grills fired up to 275 degrees, cooking on that 1100 2B today. And I think we're gonna do these burn and turn. So we're gonna do 275 for an hour up, 275 for an hour down, see how they're looking. If we have the color we want, we'll get them wrapped up. And I am gonna wrap with some of this sauce here, so we'll get this mixed up here in a little bit. I'm gonna let the salt start activating on this rack of ribs, and I will see you outside at the Z grills when it's time to get these on. All right, so we have the Z grills rocking at 275 degrees. We go ahead and get our ribs on. They are looking fantastic. So I'm just going to get these on, and I'm gonna bunch them up because how you put them on is how they're gonna cook. And that is looking good to me. We are gonna let these go 1 hour, and then we'll come back out and we'll see how they're looking. See you then. All right, so it has been 1 hour. Let's check in on these ribs. Man, they are looking really good. They have some really nice color. A little bit of pooling up here. That is completely fine because right now we are just going to get them flipped over. Just like that. You can see a little bit paler color up here, which is fine. I'm gonna take off some of this dried up blood right there. And now at this point, we're gonna let them go another hour up like this. We'll get some color on this side. Everything's gonna be looking good. So we'll see you in 1 hour. All right, so here is the Saints and Sinners miracle sauce. While those ribs are cooking with the bone side up, we are just going to get this sauce prepped up. And I'm going to do 3 tablespoons of the powder here. And right off the bat, this has a really nice smell to it. It actually smells like a barbecue sauce in here, so I'm really excited to try this out. Now I'm gonna add 3 tablespoons of water. And if you add a little bit less, it'll be thicker. If you add a little bit more, it'll be thinner. I'm just gonna follow the recommended amounts on the package and see where it's at. So since this is for the wrap, I am gonna probably want it a little bit thinner, but we'll just get this mixed up and see how it looks. We gotta let it sit for at least 5 minutes. I'm gonna let it sit until it is time to wrap. And there we go. There is our barbecue sauce. I can tell you just by licking it off the fork here, man, it's got some good flavor. That is very, very interesting. I'm curious to see how it's gonna change after we let it sit for 5 minutes. I'm just gonna leave this on the counter like this. This should be plenty for the wrap. If not, I'll whip up a little bit more. But like I said, this one package makes 33 ounces of sauce. So if you like to have barbecue sauce around, but you don't like storing giant gallon jugs or whatever, you may wanna look into this because this is pretty dang practical. So again, there's our sauce. Looks just like a barbecue sauce. Smells like a barbecue sauce. Yeah, really nice flavor on that. All right, so I'm gonna let these flavors just kind of marry together until it's time to wrap, and we'll see you then. All right, so here are our ribs after 2 hours, hour up, hour down. You can see we have a little bit darker bark than normal. That's because of the black pepper on here. Again, going for kind of that Texas look. They smell absolutely amazing. So now at this point, we're gonna get them wrapped up. You can see I have the butter down. I'm just gonna come down with some of my Ash Kickin BBQ honey chipotle seasoning just to help out with that color in the wrap. And then we have the barbecue sauce right here, the miracle sauce. So we're just gonna run that down. All right, so we have our butter, our rub, and our sauce. Now at this point, I'm just gonna get these meat side down on here. You can see we have some wonderful pullback. We got some nice color on the underside like I said we were gonna. And now we're just gonna get these wrapped up. All right, so here is our wrapped up ribs now. I'm gonna get these back on at 275 degrees and I'm gonna check them in 45 minutes just for tenderness. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to bring you out there. It's like sleeting, snowing, rain out there. We got 40-mile-an-hour winds and that's just how it rolls in Minnesota in March. You get some terrible weather. So if I can't bring you back, I will let you know exactly how long they took. I will give you an internal temperature reading, show you the probe tenderness I'm looking for. But yeah, I'm thinking maybe 45 minutes to an hour tops and these will be done. So kind of a hybrid, hot and fast, low and slow cook. So I'm gonna get these back on and the next time you see these, we'll be checking for tenderness and they should be done. See you then. All right, so it has been 45 minutes. These ribs are done. You can see they look wonderful in there. And I'm just gonna show you here, they're just absolutely probe tender. There's no resistance on there. So these look great. I'm just gonna let these steam off for a couple minutes until I can feel the residual heat coming off, and then I'm gonna wrap them back up and I'm gonna let them rest on the counter for about a half hour. So that is the game plan. The next time you see these, we'll be slicing into them and we'll be doing a taste test to see how this miracle sauce turns out. So like I said, 5 minutes, or until I feel this radiant heat stop coming off. And then I'm gonna wrap them back up, leave them on the counter, and then we'll slice into them and do the taste test. So we will see you in a little bit. All right, so we've let these ribs rest for about a half hour. Let's open them up and see how they look with that miracle sauce on them. And check that out. Those look absolutely amazing. Great color on them, nice and shiny. Got that red color that everyone wants. Very happy with how these look. You can see they're bending nicely. They're nice and tender. So I think we should slice into them and see how they taste. Great, so get these flipped over and we'll get them sliced up. All right, check that rib out. That looks absolutely perfect. Great color on there. Nice and juicy, a lot of moisture in there. Let's jump out and let's do the taste test. All right, so it is time to give these ribs a try. Let's just go for it. Right away, I'm getting some nice smoke flavor from that Z-Grills 1100 2B, and that barbecue sauce has a nice smokiness to it. Really, really good flavor on there. The ribs are cooked proper. They're not falling off the bone, but they come off with just the slightest tug right there. That sauce paired with my honey chipotle barbecue rub is an absolutely great combination. Plus you got a little bit of black pepper on there from that extra black pepper and salt we put on there. Really works well together. This is a solid rib flavor profile. I highly recommend giving it a try. The combination together, it just works. Plus that cherry wood smoke from the Z-Grills. These are some great at-home eater ribs right here. I'm definitely enjoying this flavor combination, and if you want to give it a try, I'll have a link to everything I used down below today. If you want to try out the miracle sauce, if you want to try out my honey chipotle, check out the Z Grills. Everything's going to be down there. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, ring that bell, stay safe, and we will see you next time.